Why did I pick the Gospel of John? Oh, it's so rich. It's so unbelievably rich in its theology and spirituality. Not that the Synoptic Gospels aren't, but it just has a particular depth that's just so wonderful. And I have to say, it has this really easy, teachable purpose statement. Right? It makes it really easy. Because there's other places that you have to dig for that. Why does Mark write? I don't know, I'm not sure. You stop to think, well, wait a minute. I'm not sure. What, because we don't read we don't read these texts in that analytical manner. So I was hoping, one of the things I hope you walk away with tonight is the next time you go, and sometimes these aren't easy things, as easy as John. And that's the point here is grapple with the text. Don't just, sometimes what we tend to do is go, oh yeah, I don't understand that, and we either quit or we go find a commentary. No. Grapple with it. It's okay. We're so afraid to do something wrong, like, we'll blaspheme God by not interpreting the scriptures. No, you won't. No, you won't. If your heart's in the right place and you're open to the Spirit, you'll get to the point that either you can answer it or you might have to go get some help. But grapple with it yourself. So that's why part of this, it's so rich. I love the Gospel of John. But this whole entryway through his giving us such a clear purpose statement. The Christology in John and the Trinitarian theology in John is very manifest too as you read it. So it's very nice to hear Jesus say things like, the Father who has life in himself has given the Son to have life in himself. And it's very Christological and very Trinitarian. And so those things help too. Other places Jesus isn't so explicit about his divinity. And so sometimes it's hard to get a hold of that. He calls himself Son of Man. Well, you don't know the reference in Daniel 7:14. In other places, it gets lost. Here he's much more explicit, right? Samaritan woman at the well says, you know what, the Messiah's coming. He goes, well, that's me. And you're like, wow. Why don't you speak like that other places? But you have to remember, if I stood up here and I said, well, I just want to let y'all know I'm the Son of God, you'd be like, Father, call 911. So he could perform a couple miracles, and then the problem is they go, ooh, the political Messiah that's going to kick the Romans out, let's go make him king. He didn't want to do that either, right? He wanted the actions and people with the parables, people to grapple with who he was, so they could slowly kind of come to that point. They're like, oh, could it be? Not him telling them. It's a different thing if he'd have said it. But if I'm walking along thinking about who was that guy? He did miracles that we can't even read in the Old Testament about, right? Like Elijah and Elisha raised from people from the dead. Nothing like this. And the blind see, he's fulfilling all these Isaiah prophecies. What are we going to do with this guy? Who is he? He must be a great prophet, but there's something else going on there. I can't get my hands on him. And I'm listening, and all of a sudden, when the Spirit opens that up to you, and you have it like they do on the road to Emmaus, right? Even after Jesus explains all that, they still didn't get it until they saw him, recognized him on what? The breaking of the bread. Right? The epiphany, the theophany came. And then they owned it in a completely different way than he walked up and said, well, I'm Jesus, remember me? Different deal. So.
Yeah, one other thing I just we're talking about God through Jesus, but one thing that I always think about is that love has to come first. Because when you think about it, if you truly love someone, you will be obedient to them because you want to do what you can to please them.
I think that's true. The way that but I think that it's also, it's kind of concomitant in the sense that as I begin to, it's hard to say, yes, I think that love is tried. But our love is never just spoken words, it's action, right? It's like Missouri, right out from the show me state. You love me, you should. So those two things come because love is centered in the will, right? Not in the intellect.
Right.
Love is an adherence to the other through action. And so it's hard to put those two together, but I think you could really say, yes, love comes first in the sense of really what comes first is believing. Right? What really comes first is what we would say is faith. Because I have to assent. I have to assent that, yeah, that's the Son of God. And then I begin to know. and then we love what we know, and then we respond in obedience. Yeah, exactly. I think you're exactly right.